Whenever Gout Gout chooses to run on any track in the world, the sprinting community pays attention. But sometimes he does pop up in places where we really weren't checking for him, at least not until after the fact. This is one of those moments, because Gout Gout went out there at a, schoolboy meeting, like a schoolboy track event, and he ran an open 400, not the 200. And, well, yes, he did what he does. He won the race. But you have to understand, not just the race itself, but what did it actually mean? He went 46.14 seconds, and this is the first 400 that I've seen him run. We know what he's capable of in the 200, 20 low, he's broken the 20 flat barrier, with, slightly wind assisted times. He's run near the 10 flat barrier, wind legal in the 100. Gout Gout is a sprinting phenom for a reason, and he's doing all of this from Australia. But the larger conversation is that we also saw Gout Gout at the World Championships, where he made the semifinals of the 200, which is a big accomplishment at his age. He also signed the contract with Adidas, and technically that makes him a pro, but I guess because of the infrastructure in Australia, he's kind of got one foot in and one foot out, because we see him running in these schoolboy races. And then we also see him, running in, some version of professional events like continental tours and so on. When it comes to this 400, it actually was competitive. There was another sprinter who was close to him on the way to the line. And while watching this race, it actually made sense to me. I was like, okay, in the 400, Gout Gout just looks like a high-level prospect. But in the 200, he looks like he might be the next something. And some people have filled in that blank with, you already know what name. This 400, if we were to just move it to America, because Gout Gout doesn't run in the American high school system, the 46.14 seconds, if we just threw it on the board, since I'm the guy who does high school national recruit rankings, it would rank him 15th overall on the leaderboard. Again, just straight time on the leaderboard. If we threw it up there with the fastest kids we had in all of American high schools. To go top 15, essentially in a season opener for an event that you don't really run. That is special. If he never ran the 200, let's just put that out there, and never ran the 100, he would still be a mid to high 4-star level recruit just off of that performance. More or less, that's where he would fall. But he does run the 200, and he runs it better than just about anybody else out there. So when you add that in, it bumps him back to where he belongs, a 99 overall rating on my scale. Now, we don't expect to see Gout Gout run in the NCAA system because of, the whole pro contract with Adidas and everything else. But when I say what does this actually mean? Well, now it's time that we have the real conversation. Because Gout Gout is a short sprinter. That's how we've seen him. And he is young. And when we see him and compare him to the landscape of other phenoms, because he's not the only one. Gout Gout has broken the internet for a whole bunch of reasons that are probably larger than him. But at the end of the day, just looking at the other phenoms around his age, like roughly class of 2026, for example, you've got Quincy Wilson on one end, and you've got Tate Taylor on the other. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, and if you really want to know what's going on with the fastest athletes in the world, then you are in the right place. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. One is the 400-meter sprinter, who has represented on the world stage at the Olympic Games on a relay. And the other is a short sprinter, the 100 and the 200, which is what we're used to seeing Gout Gout run. When it comes to the clock, he might be faster than Tate Taylor in the 200 specifically. But in the 100, Tate has him. He's already going 9.92, wind legal down in Texas. And then when you move on from that, because he didn't just run that one race, he also won the Nike Outdoor, beat Maurice Gleaton Jr., who made the USA championship finals this year in the 100, within the relay pool to go over to the Worlds in Tokyo. But then you have Quincy Wilson, who's mixed it up with the pros, made the Olympic trials final. He's beaten professionals this year multiple times in circuit races. But at the end of the day, both of them are still high school kids in America. That's what they are. They've been taking official visits to NCAA programs, and as far as we know, they will show up on an NCAA team competing for a title at least 1 year of their college careers. Of course, that could change. That could change at any moment. But as far as we know right now, all signs are telling us that's what's going to happen. Gout Gout's journey is going to be something different. And he's going to have to make decisions about where that journey leads him. The 200, up until now, has been his event. Just being real about it. And he could double down and focus on the 200 specifically. But if he does, where did that land him? Because it really comes down to what his long-term goals are. Noah Lyles said it himself, that nobody really cares about the 200 because there's a whole bunch of world championships in that event. And it wasn't until he won the 100-meter dash that people really took notice as him, just being in the conversation as one of the best sprinters of his era. Because I think when we say sprinting, most people think about the 100 first. The 400 is a separate event. It just is. And the landscape of the 400, to me, feels a little bit more wide open year to year, especially now that Michael Norman and Fred Curley are people we haven't seen in those events and don't know if we ever will, especially Fred Curley, coming back to running it. But if we are discussing, where Gout Gout could go, we now know. Like, if you had doubts, we now have all the information we need. Gout Gout, yes, could run the 400 if he wanted to. He could be on the world stage in the 400. And if he can go 46 right here, he's likely going to go 45 if he kept on running the event, which leads me to believe he could run 44s. Now, does he want to run 44s? Does he want to run 43s? Like, that talent is there, but he's a ways off. It's pretty clear that the 200, knocking on the door of the 20 flat barrier, is really a more competitive event for him right now. So let's just get that out of the way. But if nobody cares about the 200, which is just a conversation piece, I'm sure that some people around the world do. That's not what I'm here to discuss. And I know that this channel is international, so you may be watching from Australia or anywhere else in the world, and shout out to you. But on the world stage, the temperature that I understand, in the water, especially, kind of the way Americans look at it, the 100 does mean more than the 200. And Gout Gout has the talent to run it. We just haven't seen him do it yet. Certainly not on the same level. So the 200 might be the beginning of his journey. And we've seen other phenoms come in with a similar plan. Arian Knighton has more or less been a 200-meter runner exclusively. We're not going to see him for a while due to a whole bunch of circumstances that I am not getting into right now. But the facts are the facts, that the 200-meter dash may feel like it's a little bit more wide open. But the landscape of that event right now, with what we just saw at the Worlds, because Gout Gout was there. Noah Lyles, Kenny Bednarik don't appear like they're going anywhere. They went 1-2 again, because that had happened before. And then you now have to add Brian Lavelle into the mix and Letsile Teboho. All of these men are able to go 19-6 when they need to. That is the important part. Do I believe Gout Gout had the talent to do that? Yes. But even when he does, you still got to mix it up and be able to get to the other side of that. Can you get to 19-4, specifically in the one race that matters? Yeah, he could, but we don't know when that's going to happen. Is it going to be this year? Is it going to be next year? Because 2026 is a year without a world championship event. So for an athlete like him, I think it's almost like a best case scenario as a young up and coming athlete where you can kind of experiment, running races here and there, kind of craft a very unique schedule since Australia doesn't really match with the rest of the, like the Western world schedule and, kind of their track and field calendar. And that experience and that talent that you kind of refine can kind of show up again in 2027. When we get to that point, the men I just mentioned are all still going to be there in the 200. So what this race tells me, above all else, that Gout Gout isn't just legit. He is everything that we've expected when it comes to phenomenal talent. And when we say phenom, that talks about his age and his stage. But since he has 1 foot in and 1 foot out on the pro world and running with the youth, the question is, when he comes back to run with the pros, which is what everybody's waiting for, is he going to take care of business on that stage? Because Quincy Wilson is the test that we've already been witnessing here in America, where we know what he's capable of with the high school kids. And every time he goes out to run on that level, there are other talented kids who can threaten him, but he's always supposed to win. And if for any reason he doesn't matter what the distance is, the story is always that Quincy Wilson lost, more than about anybody else. Gout Gout will be running under that designation, or with that kind of cloud over him every time he runs in these schoolboy races. I'm sure he can handle it. That's not the question. But we're really just waiting, because he's at this point putting time trials on the board, where we're gonna want to know, what does this mean for the future? Because Gout Gout does have a bright future in sprinting. We just don't know where that future is going to take him. Specifically, what color will the medals be? And for that matter, what event it will be in when he gets there. The sport of track and field is not just about running fast. It is about doing it over and over and over again. Because whenever you step to the line, your reputation is on the line as well. With the Wake Up, Run Fast, and Repeat shirt, you can make it clear that running faster than the competition is a habit. Get yours at searecruiting.com/shop or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.